I'm so excited to talk to our next guest, of course, none other than the wonderful Nigel Farage, and I can't wait because there's so much around the world. Let's start with our mate Trump. So, 9-0 Supreme Court says you can't do this garbage where you'll keep his name off the ballot. His name goes on the ballot. And by extension, after Super Tuesday tomorrow, which is Wednesday, our collective time, he'll blow away Nikki Haley, which means she was sticking around hoping the Supreme Court would find a way, but it ain't going to be anything other than them defeating him one-on-one in the ballot box.
Yeah, and she's utterly disloyal as well. I mean, she said if Trump wins, you know, which he's going to win the nomination, she might not even vote Republican. She might not even vote for him. So quite what game she's playing, I don't know. You know, as you know, Paul, I was with him last Monday at Mar-a-Lago. Despite everything they're throwing at him, he is doing very, very well. And I've just got this feeling, particularly with this new campaign, Blacks for Trump, which is really gaining momentum, that his leads now in the swing states are around about 5% on average over Biden. He is in a really, really good place. And tonight, well, it's more like a coronation because some of the states that are voting are showing his share of the vote against Haley's as high as 85%.
Ooh, that's it. Look, you know, if it was ever in doubt, and it's never been in doubt, it is completely done by this time tomorrow. Now, let's talk about a bloke called George Galloway. For those that are watching right now, he was formerly of the Labor Party. He's sort of been in and out of their side of politics. He's got more left-wing as he's gone. He's had a pretty strong online presence for a while. He decided to run in a by-election. He's in, and the first words out of his mouth were, "This is for Gaza."
Yes, this is for Gaza. He appeared in the House of Commons. He was sworn in. I've been warning ever since the 7th of October that if we weren't careful, religious sectarian politics would come to England. We saw it for decades in Northern Ireland with that Protestant-Catholic split. Now it's coming to England. So Galloway gets elected on a Muslim vote. Being no doubt about it, it was Muslims that voted Galloway overwhelmingly. He appears in the House of Commons. Everyone's in denial. No, Nigel, you're wrong. This is not sectarian politics. And then Galloway stands outside the historic St Stephen's entrance to the Palace of Westminster and says the next election will be all about Muslims. And some of the things that his supporters, even his deputy leader said the night of the Galloway victory, there are more kids being killed in Gaza than died in Auschwitz. I mean, it's one of the most disgusting comments I've ever heard on British television, and it was live on GB News. We couldn't stop the transmission. This is a vehemently Israel-hating, anti-Semitic movement. And Galloway, what he will do is he'll peel votes away from the Labour Party. The Labour Party had the Muslim vote as a block vote. They're about to lose it. And the implications for our democracy are very, very serious indeed.
Well, and this is playing out with Biden as well, right? Where there's a significant Muslim population in certain states that he needs to be able to potentially win the presidency again, but we'll all wait and see. But I think that is part of how we're seeing the American government. And I believe, after looking at what we've seen, say, with the State Department talking about it, the Australian and the UK government, that I think that Biden will end up formally recognising Palestine before the election as a way of trying to reach out to a certain section of voters. And this is frankly as a result of the policies that our countries have had for 20 years of, hey, everyone, whatever, and then it ends up that we end up importing a certain type of politics, don't we?
We do, and I mean, of course, you know, we've all been told all diversity is good. Diversity is brilliant. Well, diversity is fine, but you have to have something in common. You have to share something culturally, whether it's a love of cricket or whatever it is. You have to have things that bind you together. And what we've found in this country, and we're seeing in parts of America, is that there are, and not all, of course, by any means, but large sections of the Muslim population who all live together, who in many cases never learn English, with whom we have virtually no shared history or culture whatsoever, and whose leaders now want to impose their way of life on us. They want us to adopt Sharia law, to live under a completely different code. And that's the point. You know, generally, people go to Australia or America from all over the world, and they want to become Australian. They want to become American. But there is an element of this religion that wants to impose themselves upon us. And that is why, you know, immigration policies into countries have to be thought about very, very carefully indeed.
Yeah, now look, we live under a similar regulatory environment that you do, so forgive me here, but of course, you know, you're not saying, and I'm not saying about individuals and all the rest of it, right? But what we are talking about here is the reality that when you end up pocketing any type of people, right, that like always hires like, and like votes for like, and like demands like, right? And that is going to become increasingly quite an issue in all of our countries. It really will. But I noticed, by the way, as well, I know you wanted to mention something about Biden, but can we just quickly talk about some nonsense happening in your country, if you don't mind me asking, right? Which is the media regulator is trying to go after you. Right? Is it those rules about political figures and whether they can or can't be on television? Sorry, are you running? Did you announce at some point in time? But why is the media regulator trying to knock you off?
I've just done my 550th episode of Farage on GB News. I know that I'm a mere boy, Paul, compared to you, I'm a mere boy. But I've done 500. I've done 550 shows for 2.5 years. Do you know, I've not had one single complaint upheld against me, whether it's on due impartiality or whatever it is. I was a politician, I am an issues campaigner and a broadcaster, and even I'm a celebrity, get me out of here. When I was in my jungle, put up on the screen, Nigel Farage, ex-politician.
Yep.
But suddenly, they've decided there has to be an inquiry. I wonder whether the fact we have a general election bearing down upon us, the fact that my show every night now beats the BBC, beats Sky, I wonder whether somebody in authority has suggested to the board members of Ofcom, get him off air, or you might not get your knighthoods. I mean, what a thing for me to say.
But how could you cut his mic? Cut his mic! This is unacceptable. Thank you, Nigel. A full version of what he's just saying is great. It's on YouTube. I'll put it up on our socials. Thank you, mate. Talk to you soon.